All right, good morning, my rad cats and kittens. My name's Arden, owner of Rad Cats Psychic. Yep, that's the name of it. Today we're going to be talking about how you can, like me, be in ecstasy and joyful all of the time. If you, the reason you're not, assuming you're not, if you are, then this video won't be particularly helpful for you. Um, but if you aren't in joy and ecstasy all of the time, it is fundamentally because of your beliefs about yourself and how you relate to your beliefs about the world. Okay, um, and we're gonna help you clarify those beliefs so you can have ones that you prefer to have about yourself, and also ones that are true. And you learn in the end that, spoiler alert, all the beliefs that you wish were true are actually true. And the main reason that you're going to have this realization in the end is because uh, no belief is more true inherently about a situation than any other belief. Okay? So if you believe that getting the flu is a good thing and you get the flu, you'll be happy about that. Okay? Because when good things happen to people, they become happy. If you believe that getting the flu is a bad thing, then when you get the flu, you'll have a negative experience, okay? I shouldn't even say you'll be happy about it. You'll experience getting the flu as a positive thing if you think it's a positive thing, and if you believe it's a positive thing. Now, thinking something can be different from believing it. You can think that you're going to go to heaven when you die, but you might actually believe something contrary to that, okay? Because often we lie to ourselves. When I say we, I mean you. Often you lie to yourself about lots of things. And one of the things we're going to stop doing if you come on this adventure with me is you're going to stop lying to yourself. You don't need to lie to yourself to be happy. You don't need to lie to yourself to be safe. Actually, the only way you can be in danger and the only way you can be suffering is if A, you're lying to yourself, or B, you want to be in danger and or suffering. Okay? But um, no one actually wants to suffer. They might want to experience a certain type of pain, but suffering is by definition just the word we use to describe the state of being people prefer not to be in. Okay? So if there's a state of being, whatever it is, that you'd prefer not to be in, I'm going to call that suffering. Okay? And you are frequently in states of being, emotional, physical, um, financial, etc., states of being that you'd prefer not to be in. So we're going to say that you're suffering, okay? Um, and we don't have to define it as a big deal. We can define it as no big deal, okay? It's really easy to do that. So guess what? Lots of people suffer to some degree or another, and it doesn't kill you. It doesn't destroy you. You find out in the end that it's no big deal, okay? Excuse me. All right, so I don't suffer. I'm always in the state of being that I prefer to be in. And the reason that you would not always be in the state of being you prefer is if you give yourself a reason to believe that being in the state of being you prefer is wrong. Okay? So let's say your grandma dies. This is an example, okay? But it should get the idea across, okay? Let's say your grandma dies, and everyone around you is suddenly in a state of being they prefer not to be in, which is very sad. Okay. And I understand that people can actually enjoy being sad, and that's valid. But for this example, we're going to keep it very simple, baseline stuff. Okay. Um, so you can either be sad like everyone else in the situation, or you could choose to not care that your grandma died, or when I say don't care, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry, I misspoke. You can experience your grandma's death as a positive thing. Okay, you can care very deeply, but just care in a way that's positive. For an example, you could be excited that she's dead. Okay, be happy for her. Okay, so for example, if you did believe in heaven, you might be exuberant that she's um, experiencing ecstasy and joy, right? Now, and then if you really believed that she was experiencing ecstasy and joy, and that it's only a matter of time before um, you experience ecstasy and joy with her, uh, there'd be no reason for you not to just be in ecstasy and joy right now, right? Because there's plenty of joyful things to be doing and experiencing on earth, and then you'd go to heaven and experience more. It's an example. None of those things are saying that you have to believe these specific things in order to uh, be in ecstasy and enjoy all the time. These are examples of how you could turn a situation most people would experience in a negative way into a situation that you experience in a positive way, right? All right. So I'm gonna pose a question to you, and I expect you won't answer it because you're not here. I'm filming this in the past, but you can answer it for yourself, and that is, why aren't you always in ecstasy and joy all the time? What reasons do you give yourself to not be? Okay, because quite frankly, um, you'll always going to move in the direction of what you believe is going to cause you pleasure and away from that which is going to cause you pain. Okay, but if you believe something false about that situation, you might find yourself causing yourself pain because you believe that to do otherwise would cause you more pain. Okay, so it's often that people will work at a job they really don't enjoy, causes them a lot of pain. Okay, because they believe that the unknown of not working there is more dangerous, more scary, more painful. Okay, there's no empirical reason to believe that the unknown is scary. Okay, it's just the um, silly willy nilly belief system you picked from your parents. Okay, or from society. Unknown is not inherently scary. Okay, because here's the thing. Um, there's nothing in the unknown. Okay, that you're gonna discover except for more of who you are. Okay. So a situation will come up that's new and exciting, and you'll be able to respond to it in new and creative ways, okay? There's nothing that needs to be scary about this. It can be very fun, all right? There's nothing that needs to be scary about this. It's only your beliefs about situations that make them scary, okay? So if you just realize, if you just choose to know that um, you can believe whatever you would like to about a situation. You'd prefer believe about yourself, and that it's completely valid and reasonable to do so, then you will do so automatically. You don't even need to uh, think of new definitions for yourself and for the situations. You just have to realize that um, the ones you prefer can be automatically inserted without you thinking about it. Okay. But the first, what you really just need to do is identify your negative beliefs. Okay. What is a negative belief? Negative belief is a false belief. They're synonymous. Okay. So any belief about yourself that is not true, we're going to call negative belief. Okay. Let's say you believe, for an example, not trying to be too targeting to you. Let's say you believed for some reason that you were not worthy or deserving of being happy and in ecstasy and joy all the time. For a random example that is totally not relatable to you at all, no doubt. Um, let's look at that one for an example, right? Why would you believe that you're not worthy of experiencing joy and ecstasy? Um, Obviously, the very concept of worthiness is a very human concept, right? Animals don't think, I'm not worthy to live. Um, Plants certainly don't believe that they're not worthy to live and be happy. Um, it's not even sensical to talk about such things, is it? Right? So why is it sensical for you to say that you're not worthy? Uh, it's not. It's nonsensical. The very concept of unworthiness is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. If you believe something nonsensical, you're going to have a lens that colors everything in your universe nonsensical. Okay, and that's a very difficult way to live, um, because you can't navigate reality correctly if you believe nonsensical things about it. If that makes sense, okay? I wish it does. I wouldn't have said it if it didn't make sense. All right, let's talk about another belief. Okay. Um, let's say that the unknown is scary. Okay, so let's say you're at least 10 years old, right? If you were to think back 10 years ago, um, would you know that you were going to be where you are today? So I'm going to work through it with all the possible answers that you could have given, right? Because I don't know what answer you had to that question. But let's say you did know uh, that you were going to be where you are today. So where you are today is not the unknown, okay? Um, is where you are now, that is defined as not the unknown, pleasant or unpleasant? Well, if you're watching this video, it's unpleasant, right? Mm. So, despite the fact that you knew you were going here, it's the known. Um, it was still not good, right? So the known can be a negative thing, can be. It is the unknown scarier. So let's say you didn't know that you were going to be where you are today 10 years ago, which I assume most of you will fall into that category, right? If I asked you 10 years ago, where are you going to be 10 years from now? You wouldn't know any of the things that are going on in your life right now. Quite frankly, no one knows what's going to happen in 10 years? Or is that just a belief? We'll get to that one later, but let's say you didn't know that you were going to be where you are today 10 years ago. So this is the unknown. You're in it right now. Well, that's scary, is it? It's pretty much like the known, isn't it? It's pretty similar. Like if I was like, this is the known, this is the unknown, can you tell them? Or be like, no, not really. Because once you're in the unknown, what do you find? You find yourself there. It's just you hanging in a different situation, right? You're pretty good at that. Hanging in situations, right? All right. I hope this video got you thinking, got you stinking, if you will. Um, Stay rad, my cats. Uh, check out my website, Rad Cat Psychic, if you want to, or if you are interested. I don't know if my unit system is working yet. If you go to book a sesh and it doesn't work, like the payment checkout doesn't work, just email me and I'll do your session for free. Um, and then I'll fix the payment thing for the future. If you're watching this in the far future, which is to say not Saturday, April 11th, 2026, then I've probably already got to that and you have no shot of getting a free appointment. Which is good for me and not too bad for you because quite frankly, paying for an appointment that you want to have is not a negative situation. Okay? It's a positive thing if you just redefine it. All right.